If a man was to see that he is out of balance after focusing on his mother and not having much of a life for however long, he can look into what he can do to change his life. He can then be angry and fed up with how his life is, but he can now be relieved that he can do something about it. What could be only too clear is that if he hadn't become aware of what was going on, he would have continued to live in the same way. His life would then have continued to pass, but he wouldn't have been able to do anything about it. As to what caused him to see clearly, it might have been a breakup, job loss, or a serious illness. But whatever it was that allowed this to take place, it will have been a blessing in disguise. At this point, he could be angry that it has taken him so long to see clearly. Still, what he can focus on is that this could have been something that took place a lot later in his life. By keeping this in mind, it might be possible for him to feel grateful for what has taken place. Also, feeling grateful will allow him to use his energy to gradually break away from his mother and live his own life. If, on the other hand, he was caught up in how long it has taken him to wake up, he would be wasting his precious energy. And right now, he will need to direct as much of his energy as he can towards his own liberation. Alternatively, after coming to see that he is out of balance, he might not feel the need to do anything about what is going on. The reason for this is that he could feel totally helpless and hopeless. Consequently, he won't believe that he can do anything about his life. Due to this, he might even wish that he wasn't aware of what was going on, so that he could continue to live in the same way without knowing that it wasn't serving him. If he was to talk to a friend or family member about what is going on, they could be very understanding and supportive. They could make it clear that he is not here to focus on his mother and that he deserves his own life. After this, they could say that he is not powerless and that he has what it takes to gradually change his life. He might even be told that he needs to change his thoughts and what he believes so that he can embrace his power. But if he didn't reach out to a friend or family member and looked for answers online, he could be told that what is going on in his mind is what is holding him back. Therefore, the way for him to move forward will be to change his negative thoughts and beliefs. If he was to try this approach, he may find that he is able to slowly see that he is not powerless. Then again, this approach may have very little, if any, effect on how he feels. In fact, this approach could merely cause him to feel as though he is trying to deny how he feels. As opposed to changing how he feels, it would just cause him to be in a battle with another part of himself. There is a strong chance that what is going on in his mind is not solely defining how he feels. Said another way, what is going on in his mind will also trigger feelings that are held inside him. Now, to understand why he will be carrying feelings that relate to him feeling helpless, hopeless, and powerless, it will be necessary to explore what is likely to have taken place during his formative years. This is likely to have been a time when he was deprived of the love that he needed in order to grow and develop in the right way. His mother was probably developmentally stunted, deeply traumatized, and emotionally unavailable, with this being the reason why she was unable to truly be there for him. She would then have been his mother, but she would have needed a mother herself. Consequently, she would have looked towards him to be there for her, to meet some of her adult and unmet developmental needs. The outcome of this is that a number of his developmental needs would have seldom, if ever, been met, and he would have been deeply wounded in the process. To handle what was going on, he would have been forced to disconnect from a number of his needs and feelings, so his true self, and create a disconnected false self. This means that he would have gone into a shut down and collapsed physical state. As he was powerless and totally dependent at this stage of his life, there wasn't anything that he could have done about what was going on. This was a time when he didn't simply feel helpless and hopeless. He was helpless and hopeless. And not resisting what was going on would have prevented him from suffering even more. With this in mind, what is taking place in his mind is going to be a reflection of what is going on for him when it comes to his emotional body and nervous system. Thanks to what he experienced, he is going to be carrying a lot of pain and unmet developmental needs. Unless this changes, he will continue to carry the impact of the past around and won't be able to realize that he is no longer powerless. Working through this pain and experiencing these unmet developmental needs will take courage and patience and persistence. So if you are a man in this position and you carry this sense of being helpless and powerless, and as though there is nothing that you can do to change your life, then please know that this is not the truth. This is simply a reflection of how your life was, and now it is different. You do have power, you do have control, but in order for you to realize this deep down at an emotional level and physical level, then as I've said, you are likely to have pain to face and work through, and unmet developmental needs to experience. And to work through this pain and these needs, you may need to reach out for external support. But the main thing is that you do what you need to do to gradually change your life, and don't abandon yourself, because you deserve to live a fulfilling life. If you'd like to find out more about the services that I offer, please go to www.oliverjrcooper.co.uk or email me at info@oliverjrcooper.co.uk, and I'm looking forward to assisting you on your journey.